So, it's S for Sofitel St. James. This 5-star hotel is located in the former headquarters of the Cox and Kings Bank, in the very heart of the Gentlemen's Club land. Not to be confused with the regular clubland of the West End, for example. This is, of course, part of the fabulous Pinkietessa's A-Z of London, or PAZL for short. This magnificent building is an English Heritage Grade 2 listed building. A Grade 2 listed means the property is of special architectural or historical interest, and certain alterations have to be approved by the local authority conservation officer. The French interior designer, Pierre-Yves Auchan, has uniquely combined traditional British design with a contemporary French flavour in, I think you will agree, a very jolly manner. The building stands proudly to attention at one of London's finest and most prestigious addresses on the corner of Pall Mall and Waterloo Place. From here, you are within walking distance of St. James's Park, where we've already looked at D for Duck Island, and a mere hop, skip and a jump up to E for Eros in Piccadilly Circus, to list but a couple of my previous A to Zs. The Cox and Kings Bank came about as a result of a takeover between two rival banks and shipping agents who had strong links with the military and India. The founder of Cox & Co., Richard Cox, started this business in 1765. In October of 1922, Cox & Son bought the Harry S. King Bank, established in 1868, and moved into these premises on Pall Mall. A year later, in 1923, the Cox and Kings Bank were forced to sell to Lloyds Bank. However, the branch remained known as the Cox and Kings, and it is still so today. The company Cox and Kings still operates as an independent travel and shipping company out of 30 Mill Bank. Also residing in this building are the Conservative Campaign HQ, which to you and me just means the British Conservative Party. Anyway, enough about them Conservatives. This part of the Cox and Kings business had originally been detached and sold separately in the 1930s. As a travel agent, they provide luxury, tailor-made holidays. In 2008, Cox and Kings marked the 250th anniversary of its foundation and is the longest established travel company in the world. Pall Mall, the interesting and prestigious address, specialises, of course, in the gentlemen's clubs. On the whole, these establishments were built in the 19th century and early 20th. At 107, we have the famous Athenaeum. This is a club for the intellectually elite, being named after the Roman Athenaeum, a centre for the study of literature and science. It has boasted numerous prime ministers, cabinet ministers, literary figures, and church leaders as members. Whilst the Reform Club at 104-5 is more suited to the liberal type. Its members were behind the 1832 Reform Act, which introduced wide-ranging changes to the electoral system of England and Wales. I remember it well, doing it in my exams in history, of course. Thank you very much. However, far more importantly, it's where the Jules Verne hero Phileas Fogg took his bet to travel around the world in 80 days. Even today, it is considered the most liberal of clubs and one of the very few that actually allows women members. Good grief, whatever next? At 89 is the Royal Automobile Club and was founded in 1897 for the protection, encouragement and development of automobilism. As one of the newest gentlemen's clubs, it has a reputation for being less snotty or class conscious. Really? The Travellers Club at 106 was founded in 1819, the oldest of the surviving clubs. It acted as a meeting point for gentlemen who had returned from their travels abroad. It is a non-political social club and the only one to offer guided tours, but not to the public. Back to the hotel. The Sofitel has been in its location since 2005. It used to house the award-winning Brasserie Roux restaurant offering French cuisine. Of recent, the restaurant has been renamed the Balcon, sporting the look of a grand Parisian brasserie, with its own charcuterie, the preparation of cold cooked meats primarily from pork, and of course the champagne bar. If all this talk of food leaves you thirsty, then take a turn into the St. James Bar. It's pretty darn wee, but you can get a drink there. Today we're here for tea in the Rose Lounge, and we're having the full slap-up tea, and we're going to tell you all about it. Afternoon tea is big business in London, as us English are apparently synonymous with it. We walk around with a cup of tea in our briefcases, and that's just the gents. Prices for tea can vary greatly from a couple of quid to £53 at the Ritz, £48 at the Lanesborough, £47.50 at the Berkeley, £38.50 at the Dorchester, £38 at Brown's, and for shooting into the Connaught, they will lighten your purse by 35 quid per person. In general, you can add another £10 for the champagne tea malarkey thingy. Good blinking grief! A rather overpriced meal with enough carbs to set you up for the rest of your life. At the Sofitel, it is the slightly more reasonable price of £24.50. The Rose Lounge, where one partakes of it, is a fairly small and intimate room, but very, very pink. So what is the history of this strange and in this form, frankly, unnecessary meal? Areas of the world that this ancient but profitable art still persists tends to have been at one time or another part of the British Empire. There's the obvious Japanese tradition of tea, but it doesn't count. Nay, cakes. Afternoon tea came about purely because a bird called Anna got peckish in the afternoons of the 1840s. She sent to the kitchen, on account of her being the 7th Duchess of Bedford, for a pot of water, some bread, butter and cakes. I know I do all the time. Hang on, it must be understood that luncheon would have been at about 12 p.m. and the late English supper wouldn't have been until about 8 or 9 p.m. So a gal could, in theory, have wasted away in that time. Anna took her tea in the boudoir, a lady's drawing room, brewing her own smashing cuppa and sating her appetite. By the mid-1840s, she had all the girls round, and it was a full-on happening that went viral as a social event in England. Hard on the heels of this new meal came the rules, customs, and elaborate accoutrements which Britons just adore. Afternoon tea must not be confused with high tea. High tea is a meal that includes meat and is more of a dinner comprising of such dishes as shepherd's pie, macaroni cheese, or fish and chips, that kind of thing. Afternoon tea, or low tea, was usually eaten late in the afternoon, between about 4 or 5 of the clock. There are 3 basic teas. Cream tea, which consists of tea, scones, jam and cream. Light tea, tea, scones and sweets. And the full tea, tea, savoury, scones, sweets and dessert. Late of the 19th century and early 20th, the meal of tea was just as important as it was to Anna Maria Russell, the posh aristocrat bird. Tea was served with milk and sugar, the sugar and caffeine providing a jolly good boost against the doldrums of the long afternoons for the working poor. Significantly, diets were poor and work physically more demanding than today, thus making this light meal accompanying a cuppa more of a necessity. Alternatively, afternoon tea can be as simple as a cuppa with your favourite biscuit or 2. And after that little feast, we will all need to get down to the Sofitel So Fit gym and run for a week, and then book into the Sofitel So Spa to get over running for a week, and then oh, excuse me, a good old naps. This has been my S for Sofitel St. James. Just one last thing. If you haven't seen any of my previous A to Zs, then you can on Pinkietessa's YouTube channel. And the best thing for you to do is to subscribe. You know you want to, so subscribe now. Yep, you can still subscribe if you wish. Go on, you know you do.
Mm-hmm.